Hey there viewers, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. Today I'm going to be changing this out so I can put this voltmeter in. I have the one that came out of the black one, or the Honda that had a mechanical tip gauge right here. And this is the same size. So instead of drilling a hole in this good one, I'm just going to simply swap them out. This one is about the same shape as this one, so it's still got the, peeling, I guess you could say. And it's gonna be right here. So the things you're gonna need is you're gonna need a T15 to take these 4 screws out here, and then it's a series. It's just 7mm, a couple of 7mm screws. You're gonna have to pull this up, so you're gonna have to take out your ashtrays. There are a couple 7mm down in here, or 9/32, which I have right here. Pull this up and take your shifter off, and slide your boot up off. This whole piece will come off, and that'll get you access to the 7mm down in this area here. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Got my T15. I've already got this set up in here, like that. So I'm going to take the T15, I'm going to take these 4 screws out around the radio here. Make sure that when you do this, you want to put them in a spot where you know where they are. So those are out. Just gently pull this away. Be careful, because there's these little alignment pegs. Now I do have my gun with a 7mm, or actually in this case it's 7/32. Take those 2 out again. Now what I would recommend is, when you go to do this with a gun, be mindful of the amount of pressure you're putting onto them, especially on the plastics. Now, I wasn't too worried about the metal piece, which I got to take 2 more screws out, because obviously that's metal. But the plastic pieces, always be mindful of the amount of pressure that you put behind it. So I'm going to pause right here and say, pardon the road noise, pardon the background noise. It's a nice day, so the kids are going to be out playing. So you hear my daughter pushing her dump truck around in the background, but that's other than here nor there. This actually gives me the first look of the shifter mechanism on an 85. They're actually different from 84 to 85. They are actually different. Oh, hey, look at that. I found a nickel down there. So we got 3 along the bottom here. This piece just slides off now. So never mind trying to take this metal piece off. You don't need to, forgot. Forgive me, folks, it's been a long time since I've done that. This bracket here will interfere with this gauge. So that's going to be, this one looks like there's 7mm. In my black one, they are actually 10mm. Take those 2 out. Let me get that bracket out of there and I'll be right back. Alright, so it's been a little bit. To be able to get this bracket out, with that bracket you gotta either cut it or bend it to get it out. That's the only way it's gonna come out. You'll notice I have the heater control out and the bulb is out. I'm doing some testing now. What I'm gonna do for this gauge is I'm gonna run the wire, the positive wire, to the ignition wire of the stereo, so that it actually comes on when I turn the key on, so we can actually see like your dash would. Now I'm actually going to be, I've got an eyelet already put on a wire, and I got the bulb grounded to the same location, and then for the power I'm actually going to change this end out for something a little bit more insulated. If it were the ground, it wouldn't matter, but this is what I have at the house. So let me clip this on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook that onto that. Looks like that'll be here. The bulb will go in. This I'd like to actually wire up to the dimmer for the dash. So that way when I turn the lights on, when she turns the lights on, this will be her car. When the lights come on, the bulb will then light instead of having it on all the time, so it's burning out the bulb, and then I can tear it all apart. So if I could save myself the headache and just do that like that and wire this bulb onto the dimmer, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fish the wire up under the console here, under this console skeleton, and wire it up to the stereo wiring behind here. Put this onto here. This is a 3-amp fuse, so this is protected, so if this does ground out, it's protected and I don't have to worry about that. Now you're probably saying, wow, that's a really thin gauge wire, and you're correct. It's only a volt gauge. It doesn't have to carry that much current. So what I think I'm going to do later on is I'm thinking I'm going to get some quadruple zero steel wool and see if I can clear some of the rust off of this face. But for now, start getting this thing wired up. So again, I've got right around the same gauge wire to run from the ignition wire from the stereo. But I got it in here. It's a bit of a tricky, finagling to get it down in here. I still got to get the metal piece back on, so I'm going to have to pull this back out to get the metal bracket back on so I can get the air, climate control back in. When I did the stereo, I just did a quick, kind of cop job here, just enough to kind of get it to work. And I'm eventually going to fix all this. But for right now, if we decide to upgrade the radio to an aftermarket or whatever, I'm not really having to tear it all apart and, all that. But, so this is where we are with the radio, but this extra red wire here that you're seeing, this little red wire right here is what's powering the gauge when the key comes on. And this faded red wire is for the bulb to this. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this out a little bit, and I'm going to tap into the power side of these, one of these ashtray bulbs. Just so that way when you turn the lights on, that'll light up at night and the light's not on all the time. So when I turn the key to accessory, gauge comes on, turn the key off. Turn the key on, put your clutch in. There it goes, starts charging. And you can see my hand shaking a little bit, probably. If you can't, it is shaking, and the reason is because the car itself is shaking. Gauge is in, it's charging, so that's a plus. Now we can tell if we have a charging issue, which is always fantastic. And again, it's because on the gauges in these 85s, they have just an oil pusher. See the check engine light there? Look for an upcoming video on that one. The gauge is in and working. Shut this off. Gauge goes down. Turn the key to on. Turn the key to accessory. This way we can monitor the battery at all times when the key is on, either an accessory or run, all because I wired it to the radio. And again, this is only temporary with the stereo and whatnot. I still gotta wire this up to for the bulb behind here, but it's in. It functions. So guys, if you like this video, give me a big thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button. Keep an eye out for that upcoming video on the check engine light. Till next time, have a good one.